What's up everybody, welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. Hope you're all doing great and welcome to this new video. A new trading education video. I will probably keep this video short, or I'll try to keep it short and concise, because what I wanted to talk about is basically one trick, call it a strategy, call it a tool that I use in my trading. And I've used this for, what is it, like 5-6 years, and I think this is one of the most underrated tools you can use in trading. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to introduce it to you. It's a very easy tool to use, but not a lot of people use it, or at least what I think is that people actually use this in the wrong way. So we'll talk about that, and I'll show you on Bitcoin some examples of where this happens and where you could actually take some good trades, or where you can take some good buys, but also sells, because you can use this both to enter a specific crypto or to exit it. We'll take a look at some examples, and then we will also do some live testing on a different coin. All right, so that you can actually see it, that it doesn't only work in hindsight, but that you can actually use it in real trading as well. Now, obviously, this tool doesn't work 100%, and it works best if you actually if you actually combine it with other technical tools, or with fundamentals, or with just in general a macroeconomic analysis. But it works a lot, all right? And the tool that we're going to be talking about is a trend line. Now, I can already hear you thinking, we're talking about a trend line here? I mean, what's special about this? And I understand, but the one thing that we are talking about most specifically is the third touch of a trend line. All right, so let's imagine that the price is moving a little bit like this. Then we're talking about the third time a trend line hits. All right, and most people, and this is what I was talking about earlier, most people actually only use a trend line if it's hit like 3 or 4 times. While I actually think, and my backtesting and just in general my experience does agree with me here, is that third touch is actually most often the strongest, and is also the most important one. So basically, there's 2 ways you can use this. What I mean with it's the most important one is that if a third touch is strong, right? So if you have a coin that's rallying up, and you have a third touch that's where we actually bounce very hard from that third touch of the trend line, then it's most likely that the trend is going to be strong and the trend is going to continue. If it's weak, it's most likely the trend is not going to hold up and we will consolidate, for example, or reverse. But outside of that, it's also, what I have found, it's also an amazing entry area for trades in general. So some examples here on Bitcoin. You can use it different ways. What I do is I draw it from wick to wick. All right, so then it's only possible. So then you do have to, if you use TradingView, you do have to grab the Binance or the Coinbase charts, because those wicks are most trustworthy. But you can see it very, very easily, right? So for example, here, third touch, bam, was the top. So that's an amazing exit area in this case, or a short entry, that's also possible. But what you are looking for is those absolute highs and absolute lows. All right, so here we knew already that this was an absolute high. This was an absolute high. Price went down, consolidated a bit, but then we had plenty of time to draw this and to actually conclude that this was a strong short entry or a strong top in general. Let me see if I can find some other ones. This is going to be an interesting one, all right, to see if we can actually get some sort of a touch of this at some point of time. Hopefully not soon. But here you can see another one, which we'll find out soon if we can actually hit that or not. That's around 85,000. That would be an amazing entry in my eyes, because it also combines with the 200 EMA here. But let's see if we can actually find some more examples. Here you have an absolute top. We combine it with this absolute top right here. You always grab the first one, all right? So if you have 2 tops after one another, which basically respects the same level, you grab the first one, and you can see third touch, amazing, all right, or amazing. In this case, it's not a good swing trade, but it is a good entry for an intraday trade. And I think, no, that's actually not hit. Can we find one right here, potentially? This one does not work that well. Although, I mean, in the end, we do actually drop down from there. But this is a good example of that it's not working 100% of the time, of course. But let's see if we can actually find some other ones. So you can see an absolute bottom right here. Second bottom right here. You drag the trend line. And you can see, like in this case as well, we get a touch, so it could have been an amazing entry for an intraday trade, but it is a weak touch. So then it's more likely that the trend, which was still upright here, is going to reverse, or at least it's not going to trend up higher. But that is one you can use. Good intraday trade. But you can also do something like this, absolute bottom, and here you can see, bam, amazing entry, and here the trend, strong touch, so then we are more certain that the trend actually continues. But this is, like, right now we're doing it in hindsight, right? So if we actually take a look at Solana, for example, and we go back in time, let's say we do something like this, where we go back in time, and we do not know the price action, right? And what we have right here, let's actually skip ahead. Oh, excuse me. That's not what I wanted to do. Let's actually skip ahead a couple of candles here, so we can find some nice bottoms and tops. First of all, we could actually do something like this. We have an absolute bottom down here. We have somewhat, yeah, here. I mean, this is already too late, but you can see the third touch actually worked here as well. But let's see if we can get some more here. So we're looking for absolute bottoms here, all right? Because the trend is going up. So then preferably we want to take long trades. This is an absolute bottom. So can we actually do something with this? We could, right? I mean, this is a potential trend line we could make. We could also go all the way from the bottom. This is something we could do. Let's keep this on the chart, but it is unlikely that this will hit. It becomes more likely that it will hit, but who knows? So this is also, I mean, it depends a bit on the trend, but this is also a trend line we can draw. So let's see if that actually hits here, which it does. So here it hits. And you can see we get a pretty good bounce from there. I would say intraday that I would have already placed my stop loss at entry here. All right, but you can see intraday, good bounce, but then it gets invalidated. But no risk because we already got that first bounce. It looks more and more likely that we actually do get a touch from this level here. Let's see if we can actually get some sort of a touch here. No, but here you can see, like we'll keep this on the chart, but you can see that we're making some new absolute lows. So potentially we can actually get some sort of a new trend line here to see if that works. we chose an absolute we chose a very good timing for the market here, as you can see, because the market is trending up only, in which case you will not get a lot of entries. And I also don't think, I mean, if you take a look at these lows right now, they're actually not absolute lows anymore, right? I would almost go as far as saying that we could better do something like this, where you have these absolute tops and we'll look for some sort of an exit or a short entry based on the third touch. But here you can see, very old trend line, third touch, and you can see that we spike down there. So this is, I don't know what's going to happen after this, but in this case, I would have had an order at the trend line, the third touch, and after a move like this, I would have already moved my stop loss to entry, de-risking the trade, but we'll see what happens here. Pretty good trade, I would say, all right? And we actually haven't hit that entry yet, but from that touch here, we actually did a 25% move, which is pretty good. But it's quite difficult to find these examples live. But I think you know what, I think you understand what I'm trying to tell you here. That third touch is first of all underrated. It can help you a lot with seeing the strength of the trend, but it can also help you a lot with great intraday entries as well. Definitely want to add to your arsenal. If you do have any questions about it, let me know down in the comments. But for now, that's it. So thank you for watching. Take care and bye.